Hey, welcome into this edition of the GASOCast. We are back with an event for you this weekend, or should I say two events. One in Houston, one in Dallas. We are excited to talk a little bit about that here in a second. But before we get started, I want to make sure and talk about all the things we got going on here at GASO. We have a cup of hoops with me in blue, sponsored by Synergy. That will be dropping later this week. Recruiting Simplified newsletter drops tomorrow. The GASO Fast Break with the final 2024 rankings, plus a little GASO extra for you. Then next, two cities, one GASO. What's the plan this weekend, fellas?
Go ahead, Blue. Man, it's here. Like this is the beginning of the GASO season for April. That it's a big weekend for us. Just look across the board, look at the schedules of both cities. It's going to be an awesome weekend.
Me and Mike
looked like you were smoking something there. To let people know that was just a little water drink. That was a little discreet. Yeah, I'm so excited about this coming weekend. Been a lot of planning. And once again, the thing I love about working with y'all and working with GASO is that no matter what's going on, like we're always going to put a high level product together. And there's nothing different about this weekend. But I speak for myself in Mass. We're putting some miles on the old tires this weekend. So my plan is to head down to San Antonio, see some family. Then Friday, I'm going to Houston. Friday night, we have a loaded Friday night schedule. And then I'm going to spend a lot of Saturday in Houston. And then I think me and Master are going to hit 45 pretty hard and kick it back up to Dallas for Sunday. Because if you haven't looked at the schedule, Sunday is going to be a banger back in Duncanville. So, Mass, does that sound like a plan to you?
Sounds like a plan to me. Got to be both places. We've got too many good players at both events, and yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Got to do it for the players. Let the players tell the story. We got to be there to write it.
I'll be in Houston after y'all leave. I'll still have Tim Littlefield with me, and we're just we'll just show up on Sunday morning and keep going, man. There's a lot. Sunday's loaded in Houston.
I know.
Yeah, that's an understatement for you to show up Sunday. No, you're gonna wake up with a little pep in your step based on what that schedule I just saw.
Absolutely. Let's hop right in because we've already kind of started to talk about it. Can't miss matchups. Okay, Blue, I'm gonna pass it to you first.
We tip things off with TJ Ford Academy 17U, and why not with the number one player in the state of Texas in the class of 2024. You got to get excited about that to see John Clark there. 2025, sorry. We're in 24. But yeah, 2025, everybody knows what I'm talking about. And I'm just looking for another dominating performance. Let's see where he has grown since the season has ended. And then alongside Prince Jones Bynum, Lucas Hobbin, I mean, this is going to be a really great team that we're going to be watching on Friday.
I'm looking forward to watching Texas Takeover and Team LOE Blue. On Texas Takeover's UA, 16U Rise, Reggie Redo, Shia Francis, Byron Bibbs. These are all guys that I caught during the season at one point or another that I'm really excited to see again. You know, there's nothing like some of the athleticism they bring, and seeing them in person will be really, really good. And then on Team LOE, Blue, you got Jeremiah Parquet and Michael Rosario, a couple of guys that I feel a little under the radar that I've seen have success during the high school season. I just want to see how they stack up right now.
For me, I'm looking at a 15U Next Gen matchup, Coos 15U NXT Pro versus JO3 EYBL 15U. We just finished our Next Gen showcase, and I got word that a lot of the kids in Houston that couldn't make the drive up really felt like they want to be a part of that. So what better way to see a really elite Next Gen matchup with those two teams Saturday morning, I believe. Super excited for that.
Love it.
Blue. Yeah, GPS West Texas 17U, Jet McCaslin, Cash Gardner, Chase Campbell, Tim Fanu. They're going to go up against Gulf Coast Blue Chips, Montana Wheeler, Taj Petaway. This could just be one of those games that has a lot of fireworks and just gives us a lot of little details of what these guys are going to be bringing this spring and, of course, into the summer. And then, of course, then you have rankings all mixed in the mix as we get further down into the spring. So it's just little storylines that I'm sure we're going to hit on next week in our shows.
Yeah, it'll be much more into depth next week, which after we let you write the story, we're going to talk about it. Let's move to some Dallas matchups here, Mike. I'm going to pass it to you. Austin Unbreakable versus Triumph. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah. 2026 D'Anthony Moore out of Clean Shoemaker is one of those 2026s that I just, anytime I get a chance to see him, I'm super impressed with him. At first, we looked at it, it was like, okay, he's college ready with the frame as a 2026. But then he started to add the decision making and IQ and turning himself into a real lead guard. He's going to have his hands full because he's going to probably face one of the top lead guards in the state in Parker Overstreet with Triumph. Just a really fun, intriguing matchup where you have the strong physical Moore versus the crafty elite IQ pick and roll menace, first step killer in Parker Overstreet. Just one of those matchups when you're looking for a one-on-one player narrative. I'm looking right there between Austin Unbreakable and Triumph.
That's a fun one. I'll go here. Flash Elite versus
This one's good.
3SSB 16U. This is going to be so fun.
Yeah, this one's good.
A couple of guys on Flash Elite 16U, Kensington Candler and Josh Weems, just a dynamic backcourt that can do a lot, get a lot done. And then on ASAC, Billy White, just been taking steps is probably the best way I could say it, and I can't wait to see him soon. Also, Silas Rodriguez, I picked him as my shooting guard on our GASO Extra recently, and these two guys can absolutely put it in the bucket. Moving on to our can't miss prospects this weekend. Blue, I love this name. I'm kind of frustrated that I didn't think of it. But go ahead. Tip us off.
Zayson Salanoa, about 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", can really shoot it. Was coming along great for Atascocita. He's going to be suiting up with 2 PMB. I really look for big things from him just because he's a stronger guard forward that can step out, shoot it, and really, if he wants to take it inside, he can. He becomes a mismatch problem, and he's going to have some really good competition this weekend to really showcase himself.
Timmons, one of our favorites, Jacob Williford, JL316U EYBL. We kind of we watched him at the Cy Hoops Invitational and just always felt like he was kind of imposing his will on other teams, just like getting to it however he want. Built strong guard. That JL316U EYBL group will be a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely. For me, BJ Gill of the Houston Superstars has plenty of momentum coming from, I think, regional finals for Iowa Colony. And I think regional semis are regional finals for sure. But he's one of those guards to where I know he's going to get the John Uri love bump on social media, but I think he's ready for it, and I think he's playing with a lot of momentum and poise, and I'm excited to see him really get it going this weekend.
What we do here at GASO is that we continue to advocate for kids and for these players that can go to the next level. And here's one for you. He's a 2024. He's an unsigned senior. Isaiah Brooks is going to be playing with CME Elite. And, he's with Houston Legacy during the school year. So, I mean, college coaches, if you're there, which I know you are, go find CME and look at Isaiah Brooks, big, strong interior, can score over either shoulder, is going to be a power guy inside the middle of the paint, runs the floor, and then he's going to get rebounds.
Coming from the big man god himself, Loser Tucci. In Dallas, Timmons, you and I put the same program down, different grade levels, but for good reason, right? Alex Barther, go.
Yeah, just one of those guys where I don't know if it's the Fort Worth Eastern Hill side of things, but when we're talking about a top 10 guy and one of the top national guys, it just feels like he might feel like he's a little slept on. I saw some highlights from him at Southern's War Before the Storm event, and it just looks like he's ready for whatever comes his way. So he's one of those prospects that I look to anytime I get to see him. I expect him to assert himself. He's taking that next jump as a 2026 where there's just going to be more consistency every time he walks into the court. And all I've seen is great things every time I see him live. So he's just one of those guys where I expect nothing less and probably expect even more. And I'm excited for that because I know he'll show up big for me.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with their 15U, Kavian Bryant, Southern Assault 3SSB. The next gen just got me giddy. This kid's already a built guard. He can put the ball in the basket in every way possible. And he just kind of stole the show for me. He was the best player that I saw that day. And I was just like, no one's topping this kid for me today. And I hope he continues that because it's just really, really fun to watch. And I hope other people get to see it too because it's a special type of player that can go in and play against any level, not be really scared, and just go do his thing.
I'll say this as we finish this up. What a blessing it is to have two big time events in two different cities. Let's buckle up, fellas. I'm gonna get on the mass healthy diet so my energy level stays high and mighty. But I'm excited for it. I know Monday we're gonna be feeling it. But just with this preview show, there's so many more players that we discussed off camera, deciding who to talk about. Hey, the quicker y'all get y'all's rosters in, coaches, the just we always talk about it. Give us ammo, because the more ammo you give us, the more we can sit here. Yeah, we can do something with it. So excited for all these players to tell their stories this weekend at the Gas. So it's another opportunity to build your momentum, and we can't wait for it.
That's going to wrap up this edition of the GASOcast. We'll see you next time.